What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. I truly, truly appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, as much as I don't want to do this, God is asking me to do it again. um, it still brings me a little bit of anxiety. I'm just going to be honest. Uh, but God wants me to go into a little more detail about when I quit my drug addiction. And I really hope that this helps somebody either make a decision about quitting their own drug addiction or even just leaving something that's negative or that's not for you behind. So, about 8 months ago, when I had to drop everything that was not serving me, all at the same time, it was all in a period of about a week. It was incredibly heavy. I had already quit my job, and I do believe I quit my job a few weeks prior to this, maybe a couple. And anyway, I was homeless at the time, so I was staying. I did get the chance to stay at my aunt's house that week, and I knew that I was going to have to leave her that week as well. And I also knew that I was going to have to quit drugs that week. And it was difficult, I'm not going to lie. Uh, but when I made the decision to do so, I still had a sack. And guys, I don't know if you can tell or not, but my drug of choice was crystal meth. And I was on that drug for about 20 years straight. When, well, the only days that I was not on the drug was when I couldn't get it, or when I just didn't have the money, or I just couldn't find it, or whatever. Um, but that week I had a fat sack. And so I had to smoke the heck out of it to get rid of it before I actually quit. And anyway, I was a big fan of tarot at the time. It definitely helped me get through so much of what I had to go through. Um, Obviously, in addition to God and my spirit team. And anyway, that week I was hurrying up trying to smoke the dope that I had left because I wasn't about to waste it, because that shit, well, it's not cheap. Well, I mean, it is cheap, but it's not, especially if you don't really have the money to spend on it. It can be expensive, especially with a habit like mine. Like my habit, I mean, it was 20 years long. Could you imagine how much I needed to smoke in order to get me even halfway high? Um, I kept getting this nagging feeling that if I didn't quit what I was doing, I was going to be suffering dire consequences. And let's just say that I didn't want to suffer those anymore. I was tired of feeling like I had to, I was constantly on the chase for it. When I couldn't get it, I was always at friends' house who were either drug dealers or sold it. So whenever I was out, I would be there, and I was always good. Now, the very last time that I smoked, it was about a day before I left my aunt's house, and I kind of started a little early. I still had a bowl left, but I tried to take myself through a couple days without it, and I did it, but I struggled, and so that couple of days I was cleaning out, and I saved that last bowl for just in case, I really just needed to do it one last time, which I did. And anyway, I was out, like I was saying, I was a fan of tarot, so I was watching, my tarot readings or whatever, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna smoke this last this last bowl, and then I realized while I was watching my tarot readings that it was causing me a lot of anxiety. And well, that's what that drug does. It makes you, makes your heart pound. It makes you want to stay up all night. Uh, makes you want to do crazy shit. Um, and I was watching my tarot readings after I just smoked my very last bowl, and let's just say the readings weren't good. That's like they knew that that I that I smoked that last bowl, and I mean the stress was almost unbearable. I did a lot of crying that day. And anyway, it was done. I didn't have any more, and I wasn't going to go get any more because God asked me not to. And I said, okay. And anyway, left my aunt's house. All of a sudden, I didn't tell her I was leaving. I did tell her I was leaving prior to that, like days prior. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I have to. And she just thought I was crazy. She thought I was kidding or something. She thought that it was never going to happen. But it did. I wasn't kidding. And I left. I did spend, the next week or so in my Jeep. And I knew that was going to happen, and I was okay with it. However, God brought me an opportunity that got me to where I'm at now. And I have to tell you, I was already praying a lot to God. I was praying so much. I was praying every single day, practically all day long, because I was literally at my wit's end. I didn't know what was going to be happening. I was jumping into the unknown. I was taking a huge leap of faith that it made me sick to my stomach. Especially when I thought, I'm going to have to be homeless, completely. I'm not going to have anywhere to go. And I had nobody except myself and God. And I'll tell you, that very last day that I smoked, I thought I was going to have to deal with so many withdrawals and stuff like that. But God stopped all the withdrawals. I didn't have a single withdrawal. And I still haven't. And it's been 8 months. I know that a lot of people are worried about, withdrawals and stuff when they quit drugs, dope, heroin, especially, I'm sure. Never done it, but I know that that can be very difficult. I've definitely had friends in the past that, you know, got sick because they were, they didn't have any heroin or whatever. I understand that, but God made it completely possible for me to get off of this drug without any withdrawals, without even really thinking about it, without even really caring about it, almost because I knew something better was coming. You can call it intuition, you can call it being psychic, you could call it having a vision, you could call it having premonitions, because I certainly did have those. Um, but I think what God wants me to get across here is that a lot of people might pray about it the first time or something, pray not to have any withdrawals and pray for God to take them off of the drug, but then they go back to their unconscious selves, and they don't even think about God. They don't even thank God for taking them off of the drug. They lose sight of what they're doing or what they want to do. I never lost sight of what I wanted to do, which was get off of fucking drugs and take control of my life again because it had spiraled out of control. I was homeless, for fuck's sake. And I'm not here to blame anybody for what happened to me. I take full responsibility for what happened to me. God knows that I take full responsibility. And he brought me through it without any withdrawals. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's what happened with me. And I really hope that somebody can take something out of this, and somebody can understand that it doesn't take as much to quit drugs as you think. um, you have to have the willpower, yes. You have to have the want to quit. Lord knows I've been through plenty of rehabs and never quit. And I think it's because even when I was forced to quit, like when I went to jail and prison for 9 months out of 2016, I even quit then, because of, well, obviously because I was in prison. But when I got out of prison, I was clean for 11 months. But before I even went to jail and they took me to prison, I was already thinking about going back to smoking dope. The difference this time is I haven't even fucking thought about it, and I don't care to. And I feel bad for all the people who are still stuck on it, and I want to help them. But the only way that you're ever going to get close to what I was able to go through, which was quitting without withdrawals, is to ask God to help you, to ask God to take it away from you. And He will do it. He will do it. I was so afraid that I would find myself back in it without even trying. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy. I couldn't be happier. And I couldn't be in a better position in my life right now because of this. God made it possible for me to quit drugs without withdrawal, without even a second thought. He brought me into this home where I've been able to heal myself for the last 8 months. And He's the only reason why. And I just need you guys to know that. I do hope this was enough detail. I do hope this didn't go too long. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Sending you guys all so much love and high healing vibes. And until the next video, deuces.